Welcome back to Engineered Well Pilates. So today I've got a lovely start the day Pilates workout for you. And if, like me, you've just woken up, hopefully this workout is going to be a great one for getting the body moving and just nice and gently to begin with, but you'll end up by the end of it feeling like you've had a really good workout, good stretch, good strengthen. So we're going to start standing. So come to the front of your mat and you're going to start with your feet just a hip width apart, and we'll do some nice gentle roll downs to begin with. So all I want you to do here is to nod your chin to your chest and let your spine just round over one bone at a time, trying to keep those hips forwards over the heels and just using those abdominals to round and round that body as much as you can. Those arms are just hanging nice and heavy, the head is soft, and you're just relaxing the whole body, feeling a little stretch. And then you're going to roll yourself all the way back up one bone at a time, just rounding that spine, everything nice and soft and loose. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Nodding the chin to the chest, lifting the back of the rib cage up towards the ceiling as you round yourself over, one bone at a time, everything nice and heavy, nice and loose. And just going as far as you can, just enjoying that stretch. And then rolling one bone at a time, all the way back up to the top. And if this is feeling a bit too much of a stretch for you, then you can add a little soft bend at the knees. And you can just roll over there with that little soft bend. And when you get to the bottom, you're going to sway from side to side. Just bringing those arms over to one side, over to the right, then over to the left. Hips nice and still. And just feeling that different stretch, that different bit of movement. Everything's still loose, everything's still just heavy and soft. And then come to pause back in the middle and re-stack the spine one bone at a time. Lifting those abdominals softly as you stretch the body all the way up to the top. And when you get to the top, you're going to bring one foot behind the other, either wrap it tightly around the other leg, or you can take a step back into a lunge position, and we're going to lower ourselves down onto the floor. So essentially, I just want you to come down onto your mat, however you need to. You can catch yourself with your hands. Mine wasn't the most graceful transition there, but it's first thing in the morning, so I'm just going to be gentle to myself. And we're going to roll all the way down onto that mat. So you're going to lie down with your legs bent. Feet are together. Arms are just by your sides. The shoulders are pressing softly into the floor. And your pelvis is in a neutral position. So you've got that lovely level plane across the pubic bone. And that gentle little gap underneath your lower back. We're going to start with our 100. I'm going to keep my feet down for this first one because we're going to do multiple hundreds throughout the session. So from here, nod my chin to my chest, reach my fingers towards my heels and curl myself up to the tips of the shoulder blades. So my head is lifted and I'm looking into my belly. And I inhale 2, 3, 4, 5 and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Pumping my arms up and down like I'm bouncing balls beneath my hands. I'm squeezing those inner thighs to keep everything still and stable. Nice strong breaths in. And big full exhales all the way out. Keep reaching those fingers towards the heels. Let your hands curl you up deeper as you try to put all the weight of that head into your belly. Nice big strong breaths in and full breaths out. Scooping in the belly. Exhaling all the breath. Let's go for 3 more. So it's not the full 100. Like I say, we're going to do this a few more times throughout the session. Let's go for 2 more full breaths. Just getting that blood pumping and that body moving. Here's your last one. And exhale all the air, all the way out. Lie the body back down. And then from here, I want you to nod your chin to your chest and curl up again, just to the tips of the shoulder blades. You're going to find the back of your thighs with your hands and just slowly let your hands pull you up to a seated position for roll-ups. So roll-ups, we're going to start with those legs bent. You can take the feet a bit further away from you, so you've got a bit more of a softer angle of the legs, of the knee. Your hands are going to go behind your thighs, right behind the knee. And from here, I want you to roll yourself backwards by rounding your spine as far as you can go without letting the feet lift and without moving those hands. So from here, I'm just going to nod my chin to my chest. I'm going to pull back through my belly button and feel my lower spine pull towards the mat, being drawn towards the mat. I'm looking at my belly button and I'm rounding that spine as much as I can, going to that point where I feel my feet want to lift or my arms are straightened. And that's where I'm going to go. And then I'm going to scoop my belly button in deeper and I'm going to round myself all the way back up. And I'm going to scoop in the abdominals and I'm going to pull my lower spine towards that mat, trying to get that rounded spine. So I've got a sticky spot in my lower back that loves to just stay flat. So I've got to really, really try and draw my abdominals in so deep and try and get every single bone to pull that towards that mat in turn to try and get that lovely big stretch. And now we're going to start to go a little bit lower. And the hands can just slide down those legs this time. See if we can get every single bone towards that floor, to touch it one at a time and come all the way back up. So I'm still not going all the way to the floor, but I'm just going that little bit further than I was before. Like I say, this is the first thing in the morning workout. So my body is still half asleep. Let's go for 2 more. Going a little bit further every time. Hands just sliding down those thighs. And on this next one, I'm going to go all the way to the floor. I'm going to bring my arms up towards the ceiling. I'm going to straighten out my legs. Now, if this next exercise is too strong, you can keep those legs bent. Keep the hands behind the thighs. From here, you're going to nod your chin to your chest, and we're going to try and roll ourselves up with straight arms and straight legs. Again, 1 bone at a time. Exhale as you come up. And then reach up and over towards those toes. It's a nice stretch for the whole back line. And roll the way down 1 bone at a time. Hands can go behind the head. Just keep the ribs strong. And then bring the arms up to the ceiling. Bring your head between your hands. And roll the way up and over. And round all the way back. Just check in with your shoulders as you roll. That those shoulders aren't leading the way. Creeping up towards your ears. 3 more. Round that spine. 1 bone at a time. Peel off your mat like Velcro. Stretch every single bone all the way down. And peeling up like Velcro. And let's do 1 more. Coming all the way up. Big exhale. Big stretch forwards. Lift those ribs. And roll all the way down. Arms go by your sides and hug your right knee into your chest. We're going to go into 1 leg circles. And you can just roll the ankle here, just rotate that foot around in one direction and the other direction. Give it a little point and flex. Just sort of wake up the feet a bit. And then you're going to lengthen this leg up towards the ceiling, as straight as you can. Just watch that the right hip hasn't lifted towards your armpit as you've raised that leg. You want it to still be nice and level. Arms go by your sides. I'm going to circle this leg around. We come across the body, down, around and up. Across, around and up. Nice little circles of the foot, of the leg. Using the abdominals to keep the hips still and to try and stop that body from rocking from side to side. Let's go the other way. Down, around and up. out, around and up. Whole body still and stable. Do 2 more. Last one. And lower the leg all the way to the floor. And we'll change side. Left leg coming in. Giving it a hug, giving it a circle of the ankle. And a point and flex of the foot. And then lengthening that leg up towards the ceiling. Adjusting the hips if you need to. Finding that nice stable torso through the ribs pulling heavy to the floor, the abs pulling in. I'm going to circle this leg. Around and up. Across, around and up. Inner thighs and abs strong. Across, around and up. Do 1 more. And circle the other way. Out, around and up. Out, around and up. Scoop the belly in to keep the pelvis stable. Do 1 more. And lower the leg all the way down. And then from here, we're going to roll ourselves up. So just like at the start, we're going to nod our chin to our chest. Arms either reaching to our heels or straight up towards the ceiling. And you're going to exhale as you peel up, light Velcro. And then let's have 1 more little stretch forwards, picking up the back of the ribs towards the ceiling as you stretch over those toes. Rolling like a ball. I'm going to lift my hips up and bring them all the way forwards towards my heels. Okay, rolling like a ball. You're going to wrap your arms around your shins or hold behind the thighs. And I want you just to come and balance on those sits bones. Okay, so from here, you're gonna round your spine over your thighs as much as you can by scooping back those abdominals, pulling back those ribs, and you're trying to work your head between your knees. Now that is very much an image, but just have that sense of rounding your spine over those thighs. Now if you've got any issues with eyes, with blood pressure, you might not want to do this next exercise. You might just want to hold this position, balancing on your bottom, those feet lifted off the mat in this lovely rounded position, just enjoying that stretch. If you haven't got any issues, you're going to add a little roll by pulling back the ribs really deep and just letting your body roll along the spine to the tips of the shoulder blades. And then you're going to come back up and try and balance those feet off the floor. You're going to roll back like a ball, like a wheel, and come back up. We'll just do a couple more of these. Inhaling as you go back, exhaling as you come up, and here's your last one. And set those feet down. I went a bit wobbly on that one. And then from here, you're going to move your bum back to the middle of your mat. You're going to lengthen out your left leg and keep your right leg bent. And we're going to go into your ab series. So right hand goes on your right ankle, left hand goes on your right knee, and you're going to roll yourself backwards just to the tips of those shoulder blades. So essentially you're just lying yourself down. Your right knee is going to hug into your chest and your left leg is going to float up to the ceiling or to an angle, anywhere where your hips are still stable and level and your head is off that mat. You're looking in towards your belly. Pull this knee in towards your chest and then switch. We pull and switch. And I'm giving a little bit of a press down of that leg, trying to sort of anchor it into its hip socket as I just scoop and pull and scoop and pull. And let's do one more and hug both the knees into the chest. Rest your head for a second, just rock from side to side. And then we'll go into double leg stretch. So I curl up, my arms and legs are going to reach to the ceiling. I'm going to circle the arms around and then pull the knees into the chest. And we reach. You can take your arms and legs lower for more of a challenge. Circle the arms and pull the knees in. And reach, swim and pull in. And reach, swim the arms and pull in. Do one more. Into scissors. Legs go up to the ceiling. Hold as high up that leg as you can, that right leg, without rounding the shoulders. Elbows stay wide to the sides for a deeper stretch. And just pull this leg towards you. Pull, pull, and switch. Pull, pull. And you're trying to anchor the bum as much as you can onto that floor. So if you're really tight in the hamstrings, the back line, like I am, this is a challenge for me. So I'm just going to do a nice small movement, pull, pull, trying to pull those legs in as much as I can without letting my bum lift crazily high off that mat. Last one. Put your hands behind your head, zip those legs together. We've got double leg lower lift. Both legs lower together. Lower them towards the floor. Lower, 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 and drag them back up from the belly. And you're going to sink those ribs as the legs go down. Sink them heavier and heavier, and drag the legs back up to the top. And we'll do 2 more of these, reaching those legs away, hugging those inner thighs, curling those legs back up to the top. Here's your last one. Hollow out the abdominals and lift the legs back up, crisscross. Bend the legs in. You're going to bend your right leg into your chest, and you're going to lengthen your left leg out to a diagonal. Now I'm going to twist my body towards my right leg, bringing my left armpit towards my right knee. Twist. Yeah, go the other way. And crisscross. And hug those inner thighs together. And exhale as you squeeze yourself around in that rotation. Rotate that upper body. Stay lifted and curled up. You've got 1 more on each side. Reach round and reach round. And now come all the way up to a seated position for spine stretch forward. So you're going to sit up nice and tall. Let's put the hands on the mat to begin with. Now if you struggle to sit up tall with your legs out straight in front of you, if it's in your hips or you're rounded in your back, then just sit up on a little cushion or a little bolster. So from here, let's nod the chin to the chest and let's round ourselves forward. Reach yourself towards those toes as you slide those hands forwards. You're trying to get the crown of your head towards the floor, and you're trying to pull back through those ribs. And then slide the hands back in and restack the spine. And again, nod the chin to the chest. Round yourself over. Slide those hands out and reach, reach, reach. And come all the way back in. Last one like this. Sliding those fingers forwards as we round the spine over. Imagine you're trying to get the top of your head to touch that mat. It's like you're a fern and you're curling in on itself. And now from here, we're going to lift our arms so they're level with our shoulders. And we're going to do the same exercise, but with the arms straight. So just nod that chin in and round yourself over. Trying to really stretch that whole spine. And trying to lift it up out of the hips. So we're lifting up and out of the pelvis, but we're pulling so deep through the ribs and the abs that we're creating this sort of capital C shape with the body. You should feel a big stretch through the back of the legs and through the back of the spine. Mainly the spine. Okay, now from here, let me just see what I had next. Yes, we're going to go into open leg rocker. So open leg rocker, I'm just going to slide my feet in towards my bum. My knees are going to go wide, sort of in line with the shoulders, and my hands are going to hold onto the ankle. I'm going to scoop back my lower abdominals. I'm going to keep my feet down to begin with, just so I've got a bit more balance. And I'm going to stretch out my right leg to a high diagonal, like I'm trying to touch my toes to the point where the wall meets the ceiling. And I'm going to lift my gaze, I'm going to lift my heart to that same point and just be lovely and strong in that stretch. And then I'm going to bend that leg back in and I'm going to reach the opposite leg out. I'm going to switch. And switch. And now I'm going to try and balance on my bum, on my sits bones. And I'm going to do the same thing. This time with one foot off the floor. So it's just adding that little bit of a challenge to the movement. I'm still just enjoying this nice little stretch. Scooping back through my lower belly and trying to lift my chest as proud as I can. And then I'm going to try and do both legs together. Now, if you're really tight, you might want to hold a little bit further down the leg, and that's absolutely fine. So you're just going to bend and straighten both legs. Just hold it for a few seconds with the legs straight and then bend them in. And we'll do that one more time. And again, if you've not got any issues with eyes or blood pressure, you're going to add a little bit of a roll. Looking down at the abdominals to rock back, tips of the shoulder blades, and exhale, come back up. Ooh, and lift the gaze at the top. And again, rolling it back and coming up. So if you're not rolling, you're just going to try and hold the position at the top with the legs straight. Keep bending and straightening those legs. Just enjoying the stretch, whichever version you're doing. Okay, I'm going to go for one more, rolling back, and then we're all going to pause at the top with those legs straight in that nice open position. I'm going to close my legs, and I'm going to let go of my legs and reach my fingers for my toes. And I'm going to keep my legs in the air, and I'm going to roll my spine down just to the tips of the shoulder blades, because here comes another 100. So hands are just above the hips, legs are straight at a 45-degree angle if you can. You're on the tips of the shoulder blades looking at your belly, and let's inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Pumping those arms up and down, hollowing out the abs. Squeeze those legs together and bounce balls underneath your fingers. Let's go for 2 more full breaths. Exhale all the air, and in with that air. And exhale all the air, and then lower those legs down, lower the head down. And we're going to turn over onto our fronts, onto our belly for flight. So just roll on over. You're going to bring your hands by your sides with the palms facing up, and your forehead is going to rest on the mat. Lift your abdominals off an imaginary pin. Zip those legs together and get the feet heavy. And now from here, I want you to slide your chest forwards along the mat as you lift your forehead and your chest off the floor. So it's this pull forwards, like your heart. It's just reaching up the wall in front of you, and you're stretching those fingers towards your heels, and then lower everything all the way back down. And again, slide that chest forwards, 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 and lower back down. And here's your last one. Big reach forwards of that chest. Stretch those fingers back. Heavy those feet to the floor. And lower all the way back down. Put your hands by your chest. And you're going to sit back on your heels into a little rest position. So just round yourself over your thighs. Press your hands into that mat. And look into your belly. And you're just trying to lift your abdominals off those legs in this little rest position, which is kind of like a child's pose if you've done yoga before. Now come up onto all fours, and you're going to turn yourself over, and we're going to go into bridge. Okay. So you're now going to sit on your bum, your legs are bent. You're going to lie your upper body down, so the legs are bent still, feet are on the floor, inner thighs are together, and your arms are just resting by your sides. Okay, we're going to lift these hips into the air. Lift. And then we're going to roll the spine down one bone at a time, all the way to the floor. And we're going to lift inner thighs, squeezing together strong, and just melt that spine. Sink the chest, sink those ribs, sink the waist, all the way to the bottom. 3 more like this. Everything moving really evenly and balanced. And just watching when you lift, the lift is coming from a push from the bum as opposed to a popping open of the ribs. You want to keep everything in the upper body just really connected and sort of tight. And this is your last one. Lift and melt the spine all the way down. Okay, now from here we're going to lift the hips and we're going to hold it at the top. Just check that that chest is kind of heavy, that the bum is engaged. And from here, keeping those hips lifted, you're going to bring your right leg, the knee's going to come into the chest, and then the leg is going to straighten to the ceiling. And you can flex that foot. And you're going to push through this left foot. Keep everything lifted, keep those hips level. You can just have a little check that the hips are even with your hands, or you can look up. and you're just stretching that right foot to the ceiling, and you're digging the left foot into the floor, like they're pushing in opposite directions. And now soften the toes on the right leg, and we're going to lower this leg towards the floor, keeping it straight, and then kick it back up. And we're going to lower it down, and we're going to kick it back up. Keep pushing through that left foot, and we kick the right leg back up, and now bend it down. I'm going to change sides. So the left leg now stretches to the ceiling. It's going to flex, and it's going to push up to the ceiling. You're going to push that right foot now through the floor. Just checking those hips are still level and even. We're reaching, we're pushing through those heels. And now soften the toes on the left foot. And we're going to lower this leg, keeping it straight towards the floor. And we kick it back up. And we're going to lower it. And we're going to kick it back up. And just watch that that right leg is strong. It's hugging the middle. And now lower this leg and kick it back up. Oh, I think we did a bonus on there. And then bend that leg, set it down. Inner thighs zip together, and we roll the spine one bone at a time all the way to the floor. Excellent job. Okay, now we've got side leg series. So we're going to roll over onto the side. If you are on a mat, which I hope you are, you're going to put your back right up against the back edge of the mat. Your head can either rest on a long arm, or you're going to be propped up on your elbow. And we're going to bring both legs to a bent position. So a sort of 90-degree angle at the knee. And one hand is going to be in front of your belly, just for a bit of support. So your top leg is going to come to your hip height. And I want you to bring this leg forwards, keeping it in its 90-degree bend at the knee. You're just going to sweep the leg forwards like you're trying to touch your knee to your nose. Now, as you do this, I want you to watch that the hip and the buttock of that lifted leg, they don't follow the leg towards your nose. So you want to have this sense of reaching that top leg's buttock towards the front of your mat, towards your opposite heel, so that you kind of try to keep those hips as stacked as you can. And then you're going to take this leg and you're going to send it behind you. And you're going to sweep this leg forwards. Just try and keep those hips as level as you can, and then take the leg back behind you. Now the side leg series, it's all about stability. So you're scooping in the abdominals. You can gently press through that hand that's touching the mat, and you're really anchored through your lower leg. Everything is still, and everything is just stable. Okay, we're going to go for one more of these. I've started on my dodgy hip side, so this is probably not the best side to be demonstrating on. And then we're going to stack those legs, and now we're going to lift and lower this top leg. So it's just going to come straight up, foot and knee lifting, lower it back down. And it's going to lift and lower and lift and lower. And you're just checking those hips are stacked and stable. You should feel this exercise around the outside of the hip, sort of around the bum. We're going to go for 3 more. And I'm not lifting my leg really high. It's just sort of going a little bit above my hip height and then coming back down. And now I'm going to pause at my hip height, and I'm going to make circles with the knee. Just little circles. Hopefully you're feeling a kind of glow around the butt. And then we're going to circle the other way. And then I'm going to set that leg back down. And I'm going to bring my arms so that they're reaching forwards. So I've got one hand on top of the other. Palms are now connected, and they're almost making my arms are making a right angle with my head. Your head is just going to rest on the mat. Or if that's too much, you can put a little cushion pad or just roll your mat up, just so that you've got a little bit of something under your head. Try my duty. Okay. Now from here, we're going to open out the body, so we're going to rotate round. So I want you to squeeze those knees and those inner thighs together, and I want you to start to bring your top arm up towards the ceiling, and you're going to follow it with your gaze, And you're going to take this arm as far behind you as you can without letting those knees slide and those hips move. And then we're going to bring the arms back and we're going to bring them back together. I'm going to open out. Just getting a nice little twist through the spine and bring the arms back together. Nice and strong through those legs. Here's your last one, just opening out. And then coming back together. And from here, we're going to turn over and we're going to do the other side. So I'm just going to flip on round. And I'm going to start with that rotation. So I'm going to prep myself up so that my arms are at about a 90-degree angle with my head and my hands are palm on palm. And my legs are together, my inner thighs are strong, my knees are connected. And then I'm going to float my top arm up towards the ceiling and I'm going to open it out behind me. And then bring it back up to meet the other hand. And I'm going to reach it as far as I can. Just following it with my face. And coming all the way back. And then we'll do that one more time. Twisting that a little bit further. And just noticing if one side feels different to the other. And then from here, we're going to set up for our side leg series. So now you're either on a straight arm reaching sort of in line with your spine, or you're propped up on your elbow, one hand in front of your belly for support, and your top leg is going to come to your hip height. And we're going to sweep this leg forwards. Again, trying to keep that buttock reaching towards that bottom foot as we bring the knee forwards and as we take it behind. Reaching it forwards and taking it behind. Hips nice and still and stacked. And ultimately, this is a start the morning workout. So if some of the exercises aren't perfect, then don't beat yourself up about it. You've got up, you're doing a workout, you're moving, and that's what matters the most. We're going to do 2 more. Scoop in the abdominals. Just moving that leg nice and gently in the hip socket. And then we're going to bring those legs to stack and we're going to lift and lower this top leg. It lifts up and it lowers and it lifts and lowers. Knee and foot lifting together, hips still and stacked, and hopefully just feeling that little burn, that little glow around the bum. We'll do 2 more. And then we're going to pause at hip height and make circles with that knee. And then circle the other way. And then set that leg down. Okay, so from here, just check my little list. We're going to go into teaser. So teaser. If this is your first video and you've not really done Pilates before, then I'm going to thoroughly recommend that you just do roll-ups like we did at the start, with the legs out straight, rolling down through the spine and coming all the way back up. If you've been doing Pilates for a while and you want a bit more of a challenge, then you're going to have a go at doing teaser with me. So we're going to start lying down. So you'll notice I said teaser 3, 2, 1. I think I did say that to you, which means we're doing them in reverse order. So we're going to start with everything long. Legs are long and arms are going to be long behind our head. Now from here, we're going to fold ourselves up into a V shape, into a teaser position, just in one strong movement. So not the chin to the chest, and as the upper body curls up, those legs are going to float up, and I'm going to reach for my toes, I'm going to reach for the ceiling, and I'm going to roll everything all the way back down. And my feet are going to touch the mat when my head touches the mat. And I come straight back up. Lifting that chest and rolling. And I fold up. And I'm going to hold it at the top here. I'm going to bring my arms up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to lower my legs a bit and lift them. Lower and lift. Lift that heart, open out that chest, lower the legs and lift them. Now keep the legs still, just roll the upper body, bone by bone by bone. Peel yourself back up. Roll it back down. Roll it back up. And do that one more time. And then roll down to the tips of the shoulder blades. We're all going to come back together. Legs come into tabletop for the 100. And we inhale, pump those arms. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Legs in tabletop. You're on the tips of those shoulder blades. Excuse me. And you're reaching those fingers towards the end of your mat. Nice strong beats with those arms. Let's go a little bit more vigorously now. Pump the air in. And exhale it all out. And pump the air in, and exhale it all out. And here's your last one. And exhale it all out, and then lower the head and lower those legs. And we're going to roll over for swimming. So roll over onto your front. Arms are reaching in front of you, legs are together. And if you can, if it feels comfortable for you, you're going to try and lift that forehead and the chest off the mat as if you're looking up out of the water. And you're trying not to drown. So you want to lift that chest, pull that chest forward as much as you can, and then float your arms and your feet off the floor. And we're going to start to swim, like we're fluttering the arms, fluttering the feet. We're trying to swim forwards. And we're breathing more inhales. Fill this body with air and exhale it all the way out. Fast, fast, fast flutter. Inhale and exhale. Last one, watch those shoulders and lift that heart and then lower everything all the way down. Push yourself back into a rest position and this time take the knees nice and wide and just sink back into those hips. Round that spine, round that lower back, and then walk your hands over to the right, feel a little side stretch, and go over to the left and feel a little side stretch. And then come back to centre. We're going to walk ourselves out into a plank. Either with the knees down, or you can be on your forearms, or you're going to be on your straight arms, on your hands, and with straight legs. And you're just going to hold this position, nice little plank position. What have we got next? Yeah. And then from here, I'm going to do a little tricep press to get back down to the mat. So just bend those elbows, scrape off your waist and lower yourself as one. And we're going to roll back over onto our back and we're going to go into our final 100. And this time we're going to keep the legs down on the floor. So just let those legs be heavy. You're going to reach your fingers towards your heels, nod your chin towards your chest and curl up just the upper body just to the tips of those shoulder blades. And we're only going to go for 5 breaths. But just pump that air into the body and pump it all the way back out. And as we're here, you're just looking at that pelvis. Is it still neutral? Are you curling up as much as you can? Can you pull those ribs in any deeper and stretch over any more? Let's go for 2 more. Last one. And then lower everything all the way back down. And from here, in one strong movement, I want you to roll your upper body up towards the seated position. And at the same time, you're going to pull those knees in towards your chest so that when you get to the top, you're in a ball shape. Now from here, put your hands between your legs and hold around the outside of the ankle or the foot. So this is seal. It's another rolling exercise, so the same thing applies if you've got issues with eyes or blood pressure. You're not going to roll, you're just going to hold this position. Pressing the elbows into the thighs and the thighs into the elbows, rounding that spine, looking in towards your body. And we're going to open and close these legs 3 times. So we're just going to beat, beat, and beat. And then if you're rolling, you're going to rock back, and you're going to come back up, and you're going to beat, 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 and you roll. And beat, beat, beat. And beat, beat, beat. And just do 1 more. and beat, beat, beat. And then here you're going to come to standing. So you can either just cross your legs in this position and try and stand up without using your hands, or you can do it from a roll, rolling back, crossing your legs in the air and pushing yourself up to the top. And then we're going to turn around and face our mat. So now we've got the whole length of mat in front of us. We're going to do some press-ups and a nice little chest expansion to finish. So one set of press-ups. Just nod your chin to your chest, round your spine over, just like we did at the start. Everything is heavy. Just seeing if it feels any different. Can you get any lower before you need to bend those legs? And then walk your hands out to a press-up position. And we're going to go for 3 tricep press-ups. So elbows touch the waist and come back up. And they skim off the waist and push up. And do one more, and you might be on your knees and come up, and then nod your chin to your chest, lift the ribs and lift the body as you walk those hands back towards your feet and you round yourself up, one bone at a time. And then float those arms up so they're level with your shoulders. And let's lift up onto the tiptoes as we press these arms behind us, taking a nice big inhale. Exhale, float the arms back and the heels down. And inhale, reach up onto the tiptoes as those arms press back. And exhale, float the heels down and the arms back up. And just do one more. That heart is lifting to the sky. And lower everything back down. And that's you all finished. That's your start the day Pilates workout. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you feel loosened and strengthened and ready to face your day. Have a good one. And I look forward to seeing you again here soon. Engineered Well Pilates. And I'm Emma. Check out my website, subscribe. Don't know where the button's going to be, but subscribe and like so that you ring the bell so that you can receive updates for my future videos. Take care. Bye.